But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and conclude this podcast with what happened in Seattle. And I know I'm a terrible person for laughing about it, but it's just the irony is out of control. So there was a Black Lives Matter. And you know what's funny about this? On either July 1st or June 30th, I can't remember which day it was, but I at least posted it on Political News Time on July 1st. I specifically said, stay away from the Black Lives Matter protest because I have a bad feeling, but I only warned Black women. Now that I've decided not to define myself as Black anymore, I'm defining myself only as a human being. I'm of the human race, so don't call me Black. I'll be offended. But I should have warned all of humanity not to go to the Black Lives Matter protests anymore. That's what I should have done. So I'm doing it now. I'm doing it today. Don't go to those protests, because what just happened in Seattle is likely going to happen in other places too. I think it was deliberate. I have watched that video at least 20 times today, and I'm going to link it up over on Political News Time. A Black man in a white Jaguar decided to drive up a closed on-ramp onto a freeway where they were having the protests, and he ran down Black Lives Matter protesters, but none of them were Black. But it just goes to show those protesters were trying to stick up basically for the guy who, for whatever reason, decided to run them over. Can you believe that? They're saying it was an accident. No, it wasn't. I don't believe it was an accident. It doesn't look like an accident because he was driving. First off, they had other cars blockading where the protesters were to protect them, but he went around them. Did he know somebody who was at that protest that he was going to try to get? What was going on? And he doesn't appear to have been a descendant of slavery. He appears to be either Ethiopian or from Somalia. His name allegedly is Dawit Kelete. And the mainstream news hasn't even been covering the situation very much, which is strange. If you looked at his LinkedIn profile, it says that he speaks a language called Tigrinya. And that's a language spoken in Ethiopia, but it may be Somalia too, I don't know. But there's something odd about that situation. So please stay away from the Black Lives Matter protest. And, you know, it's a good thing that the police were not defunded in that area when you think about it. One person died and one person remained in serious condition after a car drove into protesters on a freeway in Seattle. Summer Taylor, 24, of Seattle, died on Saturday evening at Harbor View Medical Center. Diaz Love is the one who's still alive. All right. So yeah, it's a good thing that the police. So I mean, you know, this is why I was laughing, because I mean, you have these BLM protesters who are not really, you know, I don't think that they realize what they're protesting. I mean, they're saying that he wasn't even intoxicated or anything. It's weird. And he was driving a Jaguar. That's an awful nice car. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this podcast, but I will touch on this story again later. because they apparently haven't at least reported a motive yet, but something's not right. I mean, sometimes I think that these theories about certain people being programmed or brainwashed and then activated at certain times or triggered somehow to do these kind of acts are real, because this appears to be an intelligent guy. What I found interesting about him, though, is that, at least according to his social media, he seemed to primarily hang out with people of Caucasian or who are Caucasian or of European descent. The photos I saw of him, I didn't see him with any other black people socially. Not at all. All the girls that he's with in his on his social media are white girls. And I'm wondering what the story is with this guy, because these Black Lives Matter protesters essentially were taken up for him, but maybe he doesn't consider himself black. Maybe he's against the protesters. You know, a lot of times people think that someone cannot be racist against their own race, but they can be. Maybe for some reason he wanted to stop these Black Lives Matter protesters, and he decided he was going to stop them by any means necessary. Who knows? So I'm sorry I was a little bit inappropriate during this podcast. Sometimes when I'm nervous, I laugh. All right, it's a problem. I've had it since I was a child, but just the irony in that. The irony.